A very good morning to all of your viewers. Welcome to the YouTube channel Skeptron. Before we start, I request you to all please subscribe, like, and share this video. Also, please press the bell button for notifications. So, as we begin, I'd like to ask you a simple question. When was the last time you asked someone, how are you really? We often take care of our physical health. If we have a fever, we visit a doctor. If we have a fracture, we seek treatment immediately. But when our mind feels overwhelmed, anxious, lonely, or exhausted, we often choose silence. The truth is, mental health is just as important as physical health. Every one of us experiences stress, sadness, fear, or uncertainty at some point of time in our life. Having these feelings doesn't make us weak, it makes us human. Today's session is not just about mental illness, it's about understanding our emotions, recognizing when we are someone we care about may need support, and learning simple ways to build emotional well being. My hope is that by the end of this session, each one of you leaves with greater awareness, less stigma, and more compassion for yourself and for others. So let's begin our journey together and talk openly about something that truly matters, our mental health. So, to discuss this topic, today we are joined by Ms. Harshita D. Uh, we are honored to welcome this remarkable young psychologist whose journey beautifully reflects compassion, resilience, and a deep commitment to mental health. Harshita is a clinical psychologist, researcher, and a PhD scholar in pediatric oncology at Kasturba Medical College, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, and she is currently working as a psychologist on an ICMR funded research project where she focuses on integrating psychological and palliative care for children with cancer and their families. For her, from her early days as a psychology student to becoming a researcher with publications in leading international journals, Harshita has always believed that healing goes beyond medicine. It begins with empathy, understanding, and meaningful human connection. Alongside her research, she actively provides psychological support to patients and caregivers. This facilitates support groups and has been a passionate advocate for mental health through guest lectures, community outreach, and awareness programs. What makes her journey truly inspiring is not just her academic excellence, but her belief that mental health is about empowering people to find hope and strength and purpose even during life's most difficult moments. Today, she joins us to share her insights on mental health awareness, a conversation that is timely, meaningful, and relevant to all of us. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Ms. Harshita D. We are delighted to have you with us. We would like to, so I we have it and hand this over to you to discuss further on this topic. Welcome, Harshita ji.
Thank you so much for the warm welcoming, sir. It's my privilege to be the part of this session today. Okay. So, by telling this, I would like to share the PPT. Sir, there is a request, and can you please accept it?
Yes.
Share. Yes. So is my PPT visible?
Yes.
Yes. Since Sir was giving a very good information about why the today's session is, let's have something different, new out of the thing. So again, a very good morning to everyone. Thank you for being here. And before we start, I just want you to do one thing just for me. Settle in, take a deep breathe, and just put all your other of the gadgets down for the next 1 hour. So, here, what we are going to talk about today deserves your fullest attention, and honestly, you deserve to give it for yourself. So, for the next 60 minutes, we are going to talk about something every single person in the session has, whether we talk about it or not talk about it, it's our mental health. The session is called as the Every Mind Matters, but it built around the three words which I'm constantly talking about in the today's session, that is awareness, acceptance, and the action, right? So awareness is something like understanding what mental health actually is and what it isn't, accepting the learning to talk about it without the shame for ourselves and for the people around us. And action is living here today's with a real practical things you can actually do, right? So let us begin with this. Coming to, so, why this topic and why it's today? So, here's a number I want you to sit with. 1 in 8 people in the worldwide leave this with a mental health condition. Let us look around in this session only for a second, not at the point anyone, just to understand the scale of it. That's not a distinct statistic, but it's might be somebody's brother, someone's colleague, maybe somebody sitting next to you in the home, or maybe it's yourself. And yet, most of us were never taught how to even talk about this. We were just taught how to take care of the cut, wound, or fever, or a broken bone. So nobody sat down with us and taught us what do we do when our mind thing is hurting. Right? Here's a very simple truth I just want to tell everybody, that the mental health is a health. There is no version of being well that leaves the mind out of it. And you cannot separate the two things, and then never separate to being well. So today we'll fix the gap, even it's just a little thing, right? So here's where we headed. There is the three parts for the next 1 hour, as I told. The part one is something called as awareness, right? We will talk about what mental health really means. Let us look at the numbers and clear up some myths and facts. Lot of us grow up with this believing. So the part two is something called as acceptance. This is about the breaking silence. The words we use, how we show up for the people and who are struggling, and how we can make our homes, our workspace, and our communities a little open. And the third part is action, uh, putting into the action. This is the part everybody loves. So here we are talking about real habits, real coping tools, and how to leave the activities we are going to do together right here, right now in this session. So the next one is something, let us start with the part one, that is awareness, right? So what actually is mental health? So, before getting into the session, it's very important for us to know what is mental health. Let us get the definition right, because a lot of us are working off the wrong one. But the World Health Organization defines the mental health in its own way, telling that mental health is a state of well being in which a person realizes their own abilities, can cope up with the normal stresses of their life, and can work productively and is able to contribute to their community. So, notice what definition does not say. It does not say the absence of mental illness. Mental health is not a which sick or well, broken or fine. It's a spectrum. Every single one of us in somewhere of the spectrum in every day, in every single day. And it moves. And some days you are doing great and some days you're not doing great, right? That's not a flaw, but that's just how our mind works, and the same way your physical health has a good days and bad days. So, if you take one thing from the slide, take this. How mental health is not just the option. Everyone in this room has a mental health. The only question is whether we are taking care of it. Yes, it's just a question mark. All right. So let's look at the scale of this because I think we underestimate it. 1 in 8 people globally live with a mental health condition. Let the number sit for a second. Half of all the mental health condition begin by the age of 14 to 18 before most of these people even sit their first big exam, before they have had their first job and seats already are there. So, and in a very low resource setting, let's say India, which is considered as a LMIC, low income resource country, close to the 3 of every 4 people with a mental illness get not treated at all. It's not about the bad treatment, but there is no treatment, right? This is not a niche issue. This is not other people's problem. This is a public health issue on the scale of anything else we take seriously, and yet it's one of we whisper about, right? So let us look at some of the common mental health conditions. Quickly walk you through some of the terms you have been probably heard. Probably we are using this in the layman terms in our daily life. Not so you can be diagnose yourself or anything else, just so that when these words come up, you actually know what they mean. So first is about the anxiety disorder. This is a very persistent worry that does not go away and start interfering with your daily life so that you cannot work properly, your daily routine get interrupted, and not just nerves before the event. So the depression is one of the striking news or the striking issues you can see in the media, newspaper, TV channels, everywhere. The word depression is used very constantly, but before understanding or using the term, we have to understand what it is. It is nothing but the ongoing long mood, a loss of interest or energy in things that used to make to you and lasting for a weeks, not days. Right? So one day, if you sit with a low mood, it cannot be called as a depression. But there is some criteria for you to diagnose with the depression that only the clinicians can be done, but it should last for the weeks. The stress and the burnout, it's nothing but a chronic overload, very often driven by the work that leaves people running on an empty. The stress is also the very common thing nowadays. Maybe the corporate people or the homemaker, the woman in the home also use, I'm very stressed out. So the word stress is also driven because of the following stressors like the work, the proper work what they are going through. And PTSD is something that post traumatic stress disorder. This is a distress reaction that follows a traumatic event, sometimes showing up along after the event. Let's say some traumatic event or the stressor happened 1 year back, but still you are surviving in the same level of the stress. So bipolar disorder is a very shift between a depressive episodes and the manic episodes, basically a high energy episode. And eating disorder, a disrupted relation with the food and a body image that can also be a life threatening. Again, this is just a map, not a diagnosis. But I just want you to recognize these words next time when you hear it, right? So, how do you actually notice when something is wrong in yourself or in someone you care about? So watch for someone withdrawing from people or the activity. Let's say, let me just make you think that. So, for example, in your workplace only, so you and your colleague will be working, and sometimes you notice your colleague is not like before. Some changes had happened. So, withdrawing the people from the activities they really used to enjoy before. So you can watch the changes. I was talking about the different type of common mental health disorder. One was the anxiety disorder we discussed, the depression and the stress and burnout, and again the PTSD. PTSD is something that the post-traumatic stress disorder. This usually causes when there is a distress reaction that follows a traumatic event, something show up after a very long event. Let's say the event happened in the very past year, but still you are experiencing the same level of stress currently, something like that. The bipolar disorder is a shift between a depressive episodes and the manic and the high energy episodes. And also the eating disorder is a disrupted relationship with a food and a body image that can be a life threatening. Again, this is a map, not a diagnosis. I just want you to recognize these words next time when you hear it. Right. And so, how do you actually notice when something is wrong in yourself or if someone is caring about yourself? Right. Let me give you an example. When you're sitting in an office, so you have noticed your colleague since from the day one when you joined the workplace. Like, there is some difference in he or she, let's say, withdrawing from the activities they really used to enjoy, watch or changes in the sleep or the appetite from the last few weeks, or not just had a bad sleep. So this happens for a persistent sadness, irritability, or the kind of numbness that doesn't lift. Watch for a trouble concentrating or a fatigue that doesn't go away no matter how much rest they get it. So watch for an increased reliance on the alcohol or the substance just to get through the day. Again, and please take it very seriously if someone talks about feeling hopelessness or feeling like a burden to others. That is never something to brush past. Here's a simple truth. If these signs last more than 2 weeks and they are affecting your daily life, the work, sleep, relationships, it's worth a conversation. Okay, with a friend or a professional. And if you're sitting here right now recognizing some of this in yourself, so stay with me. We are going to talk about exactly what to do about in the later session. So the next part is the acceptance. So if mental health struggles are this common, why does everyone stay so quiet about it? Right? So the term mental health is very stigmatized because somebody will think you're mad. In the layman term, somebody will think you are unfit for the society. Somebody will just remove out of society. All these, there are so many things coming up with the word mental health. The surveys on this constantly find a new things coming up again and again. That is a fear of judgment, which I was talking about. So being seen differently by the people you respect, the fear that it will affect your career or your relationship if people find out, a belief that you are supposed to just handle it alone, that asking for a help means you have failed someone and often simply not knowing where to even start. Right? I want you to notice one of these reasons are about the illness itself, they're about us. So about the culture we have built around this topic. The silence is not protecting anyone, it's just isolating people who are really having a struggle. So, since I was telling, we will be talking about like how our language should be shifted. So let's talk about something small that makes a bigger difference than the people realize. So the words we use instead of saying he's crazy or a psycho. So he's living with a mental health condition. A very simple thing. Instead of she just seeking attention, try to say that she may be struggling and needs support, right? So it is a term where you're putting it, there is a required of the mental health support for an individual person. Instead of just snap out, you can just try, I'm here, take the time you need. And instead of committed suicide, the correct respect phrase is died by the suicide or committed implies a crime. It isn't. So language doesn't just describe the reality. It shapes how safe someone feelings telling you session and that particular thing. But we use this type of the language which is hurting others, and that's where there is a breakdown to take the mental health support. Right. So, what do you actually do when someone opens up to you? Here's what to do: listen without rushing to fixing it. So, most people don't need a solution, they need to feel, right? Somebody, we need to just listen and what we felt. Ask them directly, how can I support you right now? And follow up. Not just once, but the days later. That follow up is often what people remember more. Here's what not to do. right? Don't say others have it worse. Pay isn't a competition, and that line shuts people down instantly, where the people doesn't want to take the further initiation or going to the mental health support, and don't offer unsolicited advice or start diagnosing them. Because see, when the clinicians is particularly have studied, have an in-depth knowledge about the subject, they know what the diagnosis is. Since I told about anxiety, depression, stresses, it has its own criteria for the diagnosis, where clinician will be able to do it for us. Okay. So it's not that you yourself is diagnosing, I have depression, I have anxiety. No, this is not going to happen. If someone's safety is at risk, getting them help matter more than keeping a promise. Okay. So I will help you. I will take care of you. Instead of that, let us find a solution. Let us find a right counselor or a therapist for the person, or just as give a direction where the people has to go. Showing up well for someone isn't complicated. It just take the presence, not the perfections. Again, acceptance, it's just not one-on-one conversation. And it just live in every room we talk into. At home, what means normalizing check-ins, asking how are you really, and has an actual question, not small talk we rush past. At work, what means treating a mental health a day the same way we treat a sickness. No explanation, no stigma attached, nothing. And in our communities also, let's say like school, some temples or church or mosque or clubs. It means treating mental health as something we are all responsible for together, not something to handle quietly and alone. When we have a specialist, when we have a counselor, definitely we have to just approach and take help. When acceptance show up in enough in this session, silence stops being the default, right? So when we get into the home also, we just involve in our own things, but absolutely have no clue about what the family members are going around. But just asking, like, how are you? It actually matters so much for an individual. So now let us move into the third part, that is the action. And this is where we are going to get up and actually do something together, right? So let us talk about the daily habit that actually protect your mind over the time. So in the session, who are watching the session, so you yourself can just count what is your sleeping hour. So probably there should be 7 to 9 hours on the constant scheduling of the sleeping. Okay. So let us again retrospectively think about the movement. Are we all into the regular exercises? Are we all into the movements? Right. So this is also one of the important thing. At least 20 to 30 minutes a day walking counts, definitely. Again, the nutrition. Are we very particular about the regular meals, the stability, your mood, and your energy far more than people realize? We should always focus on the nutrition part of it also, where it is interconnected with the mind. And mindfulness, even 5 minutes of the quiet breathing or the reflection makes a measurable difference and a connection also. And the connection is one real conversation, because definitely we do have a very close persons in our life. There is always a good thing that we have to connect with the people. We have to just open up, talk about the things, what is running in the mind. One real conversation a day, not just a message passing back and forth. You don't need to do all the 5 things tomorrow. Just pick one among all the 5 habit, one consistently, beat 5 habits done 3 days, and you will get success. So now in the screen, you're seeing the 5 different things: sleep, movement, nutrition, mindfulness, connection. Probably few of them might undergoing doing all the 5, but few of them will be not able to do all the 5. At least for the today session, you could take the one thing and work on it. So definitely it will be helpful. Next, this in our one of the live activity for the session. So let's do it properly. So whenever whoever is watching the session, so I would like everyone to stay seated, but sit up a little feet flat on the floor. So you don't need to close your eyes. It's not, if it's not a comfortable thing, just soft eyes, all right? So then the first thing, you can just see there is a name it. This particular activity is called as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique. So it is used by the therapist usually, and the first responders and the athletes to calm the body down under the 2 minutes. I'm going to walk you through this live right now. So before, when you're stressed, basically it is used when you're stressed. So at first, five is that silently notice 5 things you can see around right now. Okay, just take 5 seconds. The immediately when you just sit calmly and when you turn around, you can see few things. I can see window, I can see my phone, I can see my water bottle. There are the 5 things I can just see, and I'll be naming it what I am seeing it. Nextly, the fourth one is notice the 4 things you can physically feel. So now I can physically feel my hand is just lying on the table. I can physically feel it. So my cloth is touching my skin. I can physically feel it. Something like that. The 4 things you have to notice in yourself, which you are physically feeling it. Let us pause for 5 seconds. Hope you all doing the activity along with me. Next, notice 3 things you can hear right now in this room. Okay. So for me, right now, I can just listen the vehicles moving in the round, moving the road. I can just listen the fan sound. I can just listen the wind blowing so that the leaves of the trees having that sound. These are the 3 things I'm noticing. And notice 2 things you can smell or simply remember a smell you like. So right now, I'm not able to feel any type of smell, but I can just sense the food prepared by my mom, how it feels, the favorite food of mine. Just imagining the food itself, I can just smell the taste of the food, right? So, and finally, the one thing you can taste or simply take one slow breathe in it. Right. The last one is just to remind everything, whatever you notice, and take a deep breathe and breathe out. So this is a very, very simple activity. So, but you have to just make it in a daily routine. This is can be done for ourselves also. And the good part is now take one more full breathe with me in all the 4 fold of the 4 and do it for the 6 times. Okay. So firstly, once you remember all things, take a deep breathe in and breathe out for the four times. And then again, you have to just concentrate on the releasing of your breath for the 6 times, right? This holds the entire one activity. So the whole exercises, there is no equipments or nothing like that, but it will really give you a stress relaxation when you put your whole mind and onto the activity, right? Now, self-help tools are valuable, but I wanted to be very honest with you. Like sometimes there are not enough and it's not enough failure information. But considering reaching out to a professional when symptom last more than a 2 weeks, since I was telling before, when your daily functioning, your work, your sleep, your relationships is being affected, right? When you have a thought of self-harm or ending your life, or simply when the coping tools you have tried that are cutting it anymore. And I wanted to really hear this. Seeking help is a sign of the self awareness. If you are injured your knee, or if you are something happened to your wrist or any part of, you definitely contact the physiotherapist for an help in on your own cut or the sheer willpower, right? And you would see a professional who knows how to help it heal properly, and your mind deserves the exact same treatment. So for that, you have a professionals who would help to sit with you and figure it out what is the main issue here. So therapy or counseling, one-on-one talk therapy, which includes the approaches like the CBT, what we call it as a cognitive behavioral therapy, and a general psychotherapy is one of the things wherein only the individual person and a counselor will be there. right? And also coming to the support groups. Support groups is nothing but the pure led, often a free built around shared experience. Let's say, so I work in a psycho-oncology department wherein the parents have a huge burden of taking care of their children. But when the parents of the different children diagnosed with the cancer come together, make a group, discuss among themselves with the common issues, that's where help each other. When the people have a common issues, talk to each other, that is how the group supports help. And the main important thing I would highlight here is helplines. Definitely when you just go back, check the helplines in a Google, you have an immediate, confidential and judgment free helplines available for you. And also one thing is the workplace EAPs, means employee assistance programs. So employee assistance programs definitely, which will be offering in different companies, different setups, which is the which have to access with the encouragement for the mental health services in the each area. So probably most of the corporate companies have been utilizing these EAPs, but few of them are yet to put in these type of programs into their workspace. But it is very, very important for sure in the future years. Definitely, this will be highlighted. The mental health of everybody is as important as the physical health. So, next is build your circle before you need it. So, support isn't something you build in a crisis, it's something you build before you need it. Prevention is better than cure. We have heard this proverb since long back. So, it's good to have something built before you need it. Think of it in a very three layers, your inner circle. Two or three people you can be fully honest with no filter. Your professional layer is also very important. Things like a therapist, doctor, or a counselor. You already know, so you're not starting from the zero when you need them, and it's very important to reach them. So it's always told, right? When you meet the doctor, you should not hide anything else. It's the same way when you meet a therapist, when you meet psychologist, you should not just hide anything what is there. You have to openly communicate and just get it done, right? And your wider community, groups, hobbies, faiths, community, anything that connects you to the people regularly, take a silent moment right now. Think one name of your inner circle, just one person in your life who you would like to share the things with. Okay, so let's clear up a few myths quickly because this belief do really damage. So myth, something called as mental illness means somebody is weak, but no. It's the fact it's shaped by the biology, environment, and the life events the individual person have experienced. And also there is something called as myth, the therapy is only for the serious problem. Never. No, it's not like that. But the therapy helps the everyday stress reduction, relationship, and the personal growth. You don't need to be the crisis benefit. Kids, the children don't experience the mental health issues. But yes, the fact that remember that number from earlier, half of all conditions emerge before the age 40. You might have seen the addiction of the phone and also involving in the other aggressive behavior. There is a behavioral change. There are other certain psychological problems which occur in the childhood also. So every one of this myth has kept someone from getting help they needed. Let's not repeat it. So let us take a right decisions when to go to a therapist, when to go to a psychologist at the right time. Okay. Before we wrap up the action, I want to bring this back to someone very personal. So, because acceptance has to start with ourselves, how we are. Some people are intro, some extroverts, people need to talk everything, some people doesn't want to talk everything. But the first here I want to highlight is acceptance towers. You don't be in crisis to deserve care of your mind. You don't need diagnosis or asking a help, setting a boundary. Your feeling are data, not the flaws. So anxiety, which I was discussing previously, sadness, even anger, all the information worth listening to. Yes, coming back to the topic, what this could look like tomorrow. So let us make this very real. What could tomorrow actually looks like? So when we see the morning, wake up without checking your phone first. So some of the habits, if we inculcate in ourselves, this would help. I would recommend all the people just listen and just to make yourself a journal. Try to figure it out where you are and what changes you can make in a month. So in the morning, wake up early without checking the phone first. Just three slow breaths before you get in. Deep breathe in and breathe out. And the midday, a 10 minutes walk outside, let's say after the food, or just 10 minutes walk. So keeping a phone away. No destination in the mind. So again, in the evening, one honest check-in, a text or a call with someone you trust. As I was telling, just notify one single person in your life whom you can just reach out at any point of your time. So just figure out one person, call, how are you? What are you doing? Are you well? I'm not well. If you're not well, I'm not well. This and this had happened. So definitely there will be, you will get some comfort zone when you just put out your emotions. And night, write down just one thing that even okay today, however small it seems. So that's it. That's full day of protecting yourself, mind, and none of it's cost you more than 30 minutes total, right? So here I ask you to make a journal, what you do in the morning, midday, evening, night. Just one sentence of keeping yourself a diary helps you to retrospectively think how you were before and how you are right. Right. So, before I close, I want to open the floor briefly for anyone who wants to share a thought or ask a question. There's no pressure to speak, right? But if something today is resonated, I would genuinely like to hear it. Here are a few things to think about whether you say them out loud or just to yourself. When did you last ask for a friend and how were really doing? What's one word you would like to remove from and how we talk about mental health? What's one small habit from today you would actually start this week? Right. And as we close, I want to leave you with the three things here. One for each part of today. So again, it's awareness. Mental health is a health on a spectrum of everyone, not a fixed label you either have or don't. Acceptance, the word we use and the way we listen can be someone's every first step toward getting help. And action is a small, repeatable habits protect the mind the exact same way the protecting the body. So here the thing I'm asking you, just one thing for today. Check in with one person you have been meaning to text and save the helpline number wherever it's required in your phone. And if you haven't already, try that grounding exercise we did together on your own. That's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And pick one, just one. Don't try to overhaul all the whole life tonight. See, that change doesn't happen in a one day night, but it is to be like a very constant, and that's not how this works. And how you know that a small and consistent beats big abundant everywhere, right? At least one thing you keep up and you do it for yourself. So let's have that change. And thank you for opportunity for me being in this professional and have an opportunity for the audience to tell what is about the mental health, what is it about, for being here and giving the topic for the attention deserves. And every mind matters that includes every single person in the session, and it includes yourself also. If anything today brought something up for you, please reach out to a helpline, to a friend, to anyone you trust, and also the therapist when it feels so seriously and you do not have to carry it alone. Not today and not any other day. I thank you one and all for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Harshita ji. It was a very good talk, and it was very useful for us as well as I hope it will be useful for all our viewers. And the topic is a very important topic where mental health, every mind matters. The topic you talked about is a very, very important topic, and I hope we all take it with the kind of thing that you have, a kind of seriousness that you have mentioned, and we take it so that we don't get into some anything serious in the future. So with that, I thank you very much for having taken the time off to come on our program and explain this and talk about this very important topic. I thank you very much, and looking forward to more such talks from you, and we definitely would like you to have you sometime more coming more often and more regularly on our channel. So looking forward to that. So catch you sometime soon. See you so soon. Thank you very much, Harshita ji.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good day to you. Bye bye. Thanks.